Hi, so today we're going to be making the Tormas. And if you're working with, when you're out in the community and you don't have a big team at a Dharma center or a bunch of monks and nuns to work together to make the Tormas really quickly, it's helpful to divide the set into two, and there's an easier set to make that's very self-explanatory, and then there's a difficult set to make. Well, not difficult, a little bit more time-consuming set. So 5 of them are almost very much identical, based on the same framework. They're called martors or red tormas, and these are common, I think, in the Kagyu tradition and the Nyingma tradition. You know, and Dudjom Lingpa came from Golok, which is way out in northeastern Tibet. So there was intermingling of traditions, and Kagyu and Nyingma are common in Kham and Golok. So we share those underpinnings. So today I'm going to show you how to make the 5. I'm actually doing both videos on the same day, but the 5 that are the easier ones, so that one of you guys on your soap team can make these 5. Maybe the person who's more starting out. And then the other person who's got a little bit more experience under their belt can make the other 4. These are all protector-related tormas from the Dudjom tradition. These are in Dudjom Rinpoche's style, as they were done in Kongpo in eastern Tibet. Well, southern Tibet, sorry. Where Dudjom Rinpoche, after leaving Pemaku and having encounters in Lhasa, which he kind of opened as a Pure Land or a place of practice, with 5 different little centers there, spread out among the hills and valleys of the region. Hill, valley, hill, valley, hill, valley. And Lama Ling was the center from which Lama Tarchen Rinpoche came, and he was he did everything. He was raised basically by Dudjom Rinpoche and in-law Sherab, and of course his family. Who were all great Nakpas and great practitioners, and Dudjom Rinpoche led his 3-year retreat along with 4 guys up there in Kongpo. 4. And here we have quick oats, and on top of there you may be able to see a few dark sprinkles that are mendrup or dudsi. Here they're an equivalent these days. And so here we have not quite enough. I think I'm feeling a little like I want to have more, because there's 9 tormas, and this could probably cover it, but I'm a little bit scared that it won't, so I'm going to add just a little bit more. Alrighty then. And I've boiled some water. I'm going to bring that over. So I pour some on like that, and then stir it with a spoon because I don't want to burn my hands. To see how thick it is. The dough determines to what great degree, how easy it'll be, how the tormas will turn out, and how easy it will be to make them. You can add so much time on if you don't have the right consistency. So this is too dry. And so let's add some more. The hot water, I find, breaks down the oats. The tormas were, of course, traditionally made from sampa, roasted barley flour. And some people in the United States actually boil barley flour, unroasted barley flour, and make a concoction that way, such as the Kagyu Center in San Francisco. Okay, so this is kind of mushy, but I feel like it's going to absorb in. And so I'm stirring to make sure that all the dry is mixed in, kind of like muffin dough. Yeah, they say that oats don't have gluten, but it kind of acts like it has gluten. So by kneading, it becomes develops more, what are we going to call it, strength, sculptability, and so forth. So now I'm going to pause for a moment and go about other tasks, related tasks, and come back after this is sat a little bit. So I've been kneading. It's getting smoother and smoother better. And as I'm kneading, it's needing a little bit more water, just a little bit more. Sometimes too thick, too little water can cause make Torma making very difficult. And if you put too much in, it becomes sticky and unmanageable. It sticks to the board, sticks to your hand. So if it's sticking to your hands and sticking to the board, go wash your hands first of all, and wash the board. Keep kneading it, and that can sometimes thicken it up. If not, you need to add more oats, which is a little difficult to make. It's a little difficult to work with that dough afterwards because it'll have bits of. So you see how sculptable this is? I don't know, but our lamas that I'm familiar with actually favor oatmeal over tsampa for the offering tormas on the shrine. Not for the ones for human consumption. These raw oats are not delicious the way roasted tsampa is. I never heard of roasted oat flour, have you? Alright, I'm thinking this is just about there. So, unfortunately, plastic does an amazing job of keeping this dry, keeping this moist and workable. I've tried wax paper, I've tried reusable plastic bags and stuff, and on a dry, hot day like today, there's nothing like wrapping your ball of dough in a little plastic wrap. So tell me if you've come up with a better solution, maybe that waxed stuff, but even if you leave a little bit out exposed where the stuff is not covering, they'll get darkening and cracking in that space. And because I'm one person making a lot of tormas, this process is going to take a while. I want to show you a general martourist shape. This is, their mar means red. This is not red. This would be considered white because it's unpainted. This is a dried one, made of dough and then dried in the oven. Actually, if I went back to the 3-year retreat I was in, I don't know who made this one. But you see that shape? It's generally going up, and let's try another one. I kept these, and I'm so glad I did. This kind of shape, roughly. Goes up, up, up gradually, and then it curves in more severely at the top. It's flat on one side. This side's flat on the face. And then there isn't one exactly like this with this. This is called tepkyu here, which is used in all Tibetan torma making in our tradition. And then here are striations, 3 in this case. They go up 2/3 of the way up the torma. And then this tepkyu here. Actually, this particular configuration of martor is not in the main set of the Torma protector tormas, but this gives you a good idea. Somebody made a nice one, myself or somebody else. I'm not a particularly gifted person at torma making, natural, so to speak. Artists and bakers and sculptors and craftsmen and women are the best gifted people, but because I've persisted, I feel I can reproduce the traditional shapes pretty well, and now I'm passing it on to some people who want to learn. Maybe you want to learn, and if you do, thank you so much. Very few people want to carry these traditions forward that involve, work, merit making, by setting the intention that this practice will benefit all sentient beings. Tormas will be part of that practice, and everything then becomes part of Dharma. So we have a nice ball of dough, and I've wrapped up half the dough so that it doesn't go dry while I'm making the first set of 5. Okay? So I think we're going to start actually with the mamo. This is a collection, an offering torma to the female protective forces energies, and included in this is Pelden Remati, which is a form of Pelden Lamo, the wisdom takini of the Vajrayana tradition that came from Tibet, and also Ekajati, who also, I just said Tibet, I meant India, came from India in the Tantric tradition, and so did Ekajati. I just learned that recently. I thought that was a Tibetan deity, but no. So generally the Indian ones are viewed as enlightened, and the Tibetan ones are viewed as worldly. This Torma is made in the basic martor shape, and then it's cut off at the top. It's got a tepku in the front. So it really helps by making Tormas, as I said in all my videos, if you make a ball first. For some reason that prevents cracking and so forth. But in this case we're going to press. There's a kind of way of doing it Lama Tsering Gyaltsen showed us, that was making a Tootsie Roll shape and then slicing this way and that to get your basic shapes for the Torma cycle, and that's a very fast way. But you know, those of us from Western societies, we're used to using measuring cups. So I'm using a 1/3 of a cup measuring cup. You could go with a 1/4 or a 1/3, depending on your size preference. Size is determined generally by the size of the shrine room. So if you're doing a big event, you know, this size, or bigger even. And then if you're doing like our shrine room is in the living room, and our Dharma friends gather there. And this is kind of a good size 1/3. So then you know they're all going to be the same height and so forth. You don't have to be measuring them all the time. Making conical shape, and then I think I'm going to squish it down. And in this case, it's okay to use a little bit of asymmetry and firm pressing until you get down to the basic shape. Generally though, with Tormas, you really want to be even in your motions, symmetrical, and not pressing very hard. Because once you got a gap, you're committed. You know, like a dip, it's a problem. Pretty much have to start over. Okay, so we're seeing one side is flat, and two sides are. What kind of triangle is that? Do you remember from geometry class? So I'm trying to get that nice dippy shape, and I'm finding this is getting too long. And because the dough is nice, it's wet enough, I can just clip it off. If not, it makes an ugly mar. You can use implements if you want, if you find that's useful for you. But notice it won't take the dips out if you make bad indentations. So better to be cautious on the indentation side, because I made an indentation there. Oh my. Now I also put a dip in the bottom here to prevent, it kind of makes a little suction cup, as we've discussed in other videos, for the wonderful chippin'. And the wonderful chippin' this time is for this ceremony that I'm doing in a week. Is going to be me. So we want to take care of me by making these things not fall over. Okay, very solid there. I like the profile of this. See that? I'm liking it. Now, so you take this back of the knife and go up. First, one's going to be all the way out towards the edge, and you're going up 2/3 of the way there. It's a little thick, this line. I might use the back of a different one in the future, having seen that, but now I want this whole set to be proportional. So I'm going to stick with my plan. So I put 3 sets of lines. I've seen 2 sometimes, but we learned 3. So there's that. A Okay, we're almost there. And then a tepkyu. A tepkyu is made, it depends on your teacher's style, but Lama Tarchin, as I understand it, taught a 3-finger style, and Lama Pema Dorje taught me 4 fingers. Today, for consistency, since I'm teaching Lama Tarchin's ways, I'm using 3. Although Lama Pema Dorje Rinpoche told me that they all learned from Lama Tarchin originally. All the lamas of that. And Lama Tarchin Rinpoche came down soon after Dudjom Rinpoche. They kept Lama Ling open as long as they could in the political environment, and then when the communists boarded up the shrine room, they knew it was time to go. So they escaped over the mountains, he and his elderly father and mother. Did his mother leave? I don't actually know if she went, because she ended up back in Tibet. I think she must have gone with him. And then there was a lull in Lama Ling for many years, and it was rebuilt by Dudjom Yudron later, who has since passed on herself. Okay, that's a good martor shape. Now what am I going to do? I'm showing you the shape, and then I'm going to do something kind of mean to it. This is the mama. Don't think mean. Everything I say, I think, oh, somebody's gonna quote me on that. It's not mean. This is the shape that the mamas like to eat. So it's a little bit of a quandary sometimes. In our way of doing these tormas, they're all the same height. Yes, it's true, they're all the same height. And I know some lamas do it differently. I'm not saying anybody else is bad. And so then you cut off the top of it, and it's not exactly the same height, but we'll make up for it with, again, ornaments. Again, I use paper. Okay, so I've gone ahead and made the basic shapes for all 5. And while I was doing that, I remembered one thing, which is the bottom, when they're seen from the front, this curve is pretty much goes down to straight up and down. From the front, they aren't flanging way out the bottom. That was a mistake I made in the early years. And as I was making a set, I realized I was still doing it. Rahula and Sen. Rahula, basic martor shape. And then, it's looking like so you can see this. A little tilty. So the top, your fingers down, curve slowly. I do it in increments so it doesn't crack or break. So again, you're relying on good dough. There can be a little bit of rough edges there. And what happens is you end up getting a flat place here, which will be important for placement of the ornament, whether it be paper or if you're making traditional butter ornaments, again, then the top one will go here, bottom one will go down here. So you don't want to make it twist too low, otherwise you won't have placement for your lower one, and you don't want the lower one to be sitting right down the bottom of this tepkyu. And then the upper one will have this flat placement. Nice. So it's a swirly whirly. So that turning twisting to the right is Rahula. I have this mortal fear that I've forgotten. I'm giving you wrong information. No, I'm not. And then same thing with a Sen. It's a martor and then twisting to the left. How are we doing? Have we gotten that front piece yet? Place for the again, place for the again. I think we're doing good. Okay, so that's easy, huh? So I'd already put the tepkyu on the bottom. Oh, ha! Oh no, yeah, I had. There we go. Rahula and Sen. I'll show you a model we made in larger model so you can get a better view. This tepkyu fell off. This is a dried model. this Rahula, no, left, Sen, and basic shape. Giant, this is like a big shrine room size. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. And this, the tepki fell off. So then we have the right turning Rahula. And Rahula is the major, is the main protector of the Throma cycle. Twist it to the right. Yes, this person made kind of a rounded back here. It's in Lama Tarchin's way of learned Lamaling, and it was all the same height as I said. So, except if you, for the Trochon or the short Tromas, Sadhana silk, sometimes they put the five main protectors of the Throma lineage on one plate, as we call it, like a 5-plate. Let's call it a 5-plate. And then Rahula is in the center as the main protector, and some lamas make the Rahula bigger then. So in this case, I'm doing the more elaborated version where each, in the middle-length Throma, where each Torma goes out with its with a recitation, at the end of a recitation, invoking those, invoking, is that the right word? Offering to the each protector one at a time. So you can use a 5-plate for that, but I'm going to do them individually because I want to refresh my memory about where and exactly how it's done. I'm a little crazy. So so that's those two. Now the next thing is quite interesting is this. So this is, has no tepku on the bottom. I've got the right light for that. And it's got the 3 lines on each side, and it's pointy like a martor, but there's no tepku there. And this is the kulwa or command Torma. So at the end of all them, I think it's at the end of all of them, there's a section called the commanding or ordering or this kind of, however it's translated in your text, where they say, okay, we've given you all your offerings, now go out and do what you do. Protect the Dharma, protect the teachings, protect the specific Throma lineage so it can go forward and flourish and lead all sentient beings to enlightenment. Well, maybe it won't be every sentient being's path to enlightenment, but a lot of them. So it's an important job. And so this Torma is not really representing one protector, but it's offered as along with the command to all of them. Okay. I realized at the end this command Torma needs to have a little roof-like structure on the top of it. It's a little different than the other martors. In addition to having no tepku, it has that going out, so it looks like that. Good catch, Yudron. Okay, now I can this like this, and then like that. Okay, so it's very simple. And so we've done, that's 4 of them. Sen, Rahula, Kuwa, and Mama. And then there's one more I left blank here, which is the Yama. Yama's Shinje are in this case there's many Yama. It means 3 different things, really, that word. So the local, very intense demons of Tibet called the Shinje demons, who might be like wraiths or something in our Harry Potter world, very intense. They were tamed and under oath to Guru Rinpoche, and indeed put in service of this Therma lineage. You can read about how each one came to be associated with the Dudjom Throma cycle and Dudjom Linkpa's Namtar, called A Clear Mirror, by my Vajra sister, Chini Droma, translated by Dudjom Linkpa's autobiography. So Yama is very interesting. you have a couple of lines that go almost vertical up. About halfway. Like that. Again, I don't like the little knife exact. I'm using the back of the knife. But
sorry, I didn't find a device named Light.
Alexa heard her name. Oh my goodness. And she didn't define a device named Light. So then there's two lines that come in and they cross over here. One goes there, and one goes there. There. So they meet, they intersect with the upper vertical ones. Yama! I mean, they're a little bit vertical. They could go out a little bit more to the side, but we're going to call it good. And Yama does have a tepku. So I push a little indentation there. It's a secret. If your tepkus aren't sticking, you can dip them in a little plate of water and dip it in there, and that'll make them stick. And it's good to have a little footing for it. So cute, huh? Cute little. So I just want to stress here, in case you're new to Vajrayana, these demons have sworn off. They were gods, and demons represent our hopes and fears, right? And in the case of traditional societies, you know, like places, scary feeling places have a certain energy, and they have become personified in the form of demons, gods, and maybe have a wonderful uplifting flavor. So there become associations, right? You know, each valley, haunted feeling valley has its own demon, and each, you know, exalted mountaintop or beautiful, glorious lake has its own goddess, like that. And so internally, this is our hopes and fears, as we say in the Chit tradition. Where am I going with that? So, Shinje, they're very terrifying, but in this case, either Dudjom Lingpa or Padmasambhava have bound them under oath. They're never going to harm any sentient being again. They're only serving Dharma. But in exchange, because they're not fully enlightened, they still need stuff. They still won't have wants, and having wants is a sign of unenlightenment. We give them this offering every time we do pujas as Nyingma practitioners. Okay, just to say thank you for doing your job. Go out and do it. So that concludes the 5 easy to make tormas among the trauma protector tormas, and join me next time for the 4 additional tormas, which are of course Naga, Chedu and Tenma, and the general protector torma, or Soldu.